It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. I'm just really sorry that I can't be with you live, hearing your experiences and answering your questions. I want to start by thanking Carers UK for pretty much everything, but also for giving me this opportunity to talk to you about my Carers Leave Bill. I know a lot of you will have heard about the bill already. You might have written to your MP or campaigned for its introduction, and thank you to all of you who have done that. Your support is absolutely invaluable, and I really hope that I will be able to deliver it for you, and progress so far is great. But I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the bill process, which you might know a little less about. Trust me when I say that Parliament is a strange place, and it has lots of strange rules, but it ultimately does get things done. Private members' bills, what the Carers Leave Bill is, are a brilliant example of this. Out of 650 MPs, I am one of only 20 able to get parliamentary time this year to introduce a new law. Simply because I picked a number which was randomly selected in the fanciest looking bingo session you have ever seen. This is filmed every year, and I highly recommend that you go online and have a look for it. Clerks in white gloves select balls from a glass jar. It's the fanciest bingo that I have ever seen. And then, having been chosen, I had to decide what law I wanted to try and introduce. And it really is an amazing choice. You think to yourself of all the things you might want to change, and the parameters for private members' bills are limited, but what would be the one law that you would want to introduce? And for me, after a little thought, the choice seemed obvious. I wanted to do something that would help people in my constituency in North East Fife. I wanted to do something that would make a meaningful difference and would outlast me and whatever that day's political argument was. And that means I needed to do something which might get government support, because even though I'm introducing the bill, I need government support to get it passed. And all of those considerations pointed me in one direction: the long neglected policy, proposed and consulted on by the government, although admittedly long before this precise makeup of government, to introduce carers' leave. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here when I tell you what a fundamental step that will be. For the first time ever, there will be statutory employment rights to help carers do unpaid caring, the caring that keeps our society going, but which is too often ignored by government. Up to 5 days per year to be taken flexibly, designed to be as easy as possible for employers and employees to arrange. This will be a seismic change for the 2.3 million unpaid carers in work, and I've had the privilege of meeting with some of them over the past few months. In fact, thanks to the support of Carers UK, I may well have had the opportunity to meet some of you that are listening in today. And what I've heard has been humbling. Person after person, experience after experience of people making sacrifices to help their loved ones, friends and family. And no one caring relationship is the same as any other. I've met adult children arranging care and treatment for parents with dementia, husbands helping wives with multiple sclerosis, neighbours who do the shopping for the elderly couple next door. But there are themes of being stretched to the limit, worrying about how your employer might react in the event of an emergency, using up your annual leave for caring, and often being exhausted with the admin of caring taking away from that direct contact that people have with their loved ones. And this is what my bill aims to tackle, by just making it that bit easier to cope. And I also hope it will start new conversations about what caring is, and make employers and employees alike think about what support is needed, helping people to actually recognise that they are carers. And I've also met with businesses which are already ahead of the curve and offer carers leave. And I thank Carers UK again for introducing me to their Employers for Carers network. They told me what you probably already know, that introducing carers leave is a win-win for business, that it increases productivity, it increases staff retention, and ultimately that saves them money. As an MP, I'm sort of a business myself, employing a small team of people, And whilst I've thought I would always be flexible with whatever needs my employees had, it wasn't until I started this process that I stopped to look at the formal policies that Parliament has in place and to have conversations with my team about what caring can include and how I can best support them in the ways that they do so much for me. And I'm proud that as a result last week, this was recognised as I was awarded a Carer Positive accreditation from Carers Scotland. If you are an employer or employee in Scotland, encourage your employer to get involved. And my hope for this new law is that it will encourage other employers, large and small, to look at their policies and provide not just the statutory minimum, but to look at being the best they possibly can be. And of course, we know this isn't enough. The Liberal Democrats, like Carers UK, ultimately want the law to require that leave is paid. And I know that for so many carers, caring and working has already become too hard, and employment rights won't help everyone. And that's why I've been calling on the government consistently to reform carers' allowance, to uprate it, to allow people to work more before they lose it, and not to exclude recipients from the cost of living payments that are currently underway. There is still a lot of work to be done before the bill becomes law. It was a pleasure to have representatives from Carers UK and John Dunster, a carer who works for Centrica, in Parliament when the bill passed its second reading a couple of weeks ago. And I'm delighted to say that yesterday it passed its committee stage, and we now await time in the spring to bring it back for further debate before it heads to the House of Lords. That's a lot of time in politics. It's vital we come up, pressure the government and MPs from all parties about how important it is to pass this law. So if you want to help, even if you've already helped sign up to the Carers UK support page, share content on social media and write to your MP. Tell them what this would mean for you and those you care for. Thank you for your support. Together we can and will make carers leave law.